Hello Year 7s and welcome to your science lesson. So today we're going to do the 3 line graphs that I promised you in the previous science lesson in preparation for your test. So you'll remember that we went and did a little pre-test about representing data on Microsoft Forms. Then we copied some notes from a PowerPoint in lesson 6. Then I told you to skip these 2 pages, so this is page 19 and 20. And we went and did the exercise where we measure the temperature of boiling water and ice water. So that's lesson 7. And we took some data for lesson 7. So we took the temperature. Every group took the temperature of the hot water and the cold water every 2 minutes over 20 minutes. Okay, so we've basically done half of lesson 6 and half of lesson 7. And today's point, the point of today, is to go over and finish the first half of lesson 6 and then the other half of lesson 7, and it involves us doing 3 line graphs. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what we need in any graph that we do in science. So we've got the acronym TALKS. Okay, so every graph needs a title, it needs good axes, it needs a label, it needs a key if appropriate, and it needs a scale that is appropriate as well. So let's just go through what we need to do for the title. Your graph must have a title that describes that data you have graphed. Good titles include both the independent and dependent variables. So I'm going to go ahead and include that. So whenever you have a title, try and think of including what it is that you're changing and what you're measuring. Okay. Axes. The x-axis is the horizontal axis, so that's the one that goes from left to right. And the y-axis is the vertical axis that's drawn from top to bottom, starting from 0. Okay? So usually we label the x-axis. The x-axis will be our independent variable, and the y-axis will be our dependent variable. And that's what the next thing is saying. Labels. The x-axis should be used for the independent variable, and the y-axis should be used for the dependent variable. All units must be present. So I'm going to highlight x-axis, independent variable, y-axis, dependent variable, and then units. Okay, those are things that we need to have. Your key. The graph should have a key if there's more than one line and the line graph on the line graph, or if the pie graph sectors are not labeled. Okay. Finally, we've got scale. Your axes must have the correct scale and start at zeros. Scale refers to the value of each box or increment of the graph. The increments increase by the same amount between each number. Okay, so there we're talking about, you'll see it when we practice this exercise, but the scale is basically how much you go up every time. So you can go up in 2s or 4s or 6s or even 1s depending on what you're going to do. Okay, so let's keep in mind TALKS while we do this first exercise. Okay, so challenge. Use the data in the table below to create a line graph. Both graphs should meet the TALKS criteria. Okay. So we're going to just do this first line graph, and it says the increase in baby mouse mass over 3 weeks. So that's what this table's title is. They've got the different days there, and then they've got the mass of the baby mouse in grams. Okay. So let's start our line graph. So the first thing that we need is a title. So I'm going to do this in pen, but I'm going to write here line graph showing the baby mouse mass over 3 weeks. Okay, and every title is underlined with a ruler. And you'll notice that that line graph, title that I've just put up there, includes both the dependent and independent variable. So the dependent variable is the 3 weeks, so that's time, and the independent variable is the mass of the baby mouse. I've included both of those. So if I've got TALKS, okay, I have just done the title. The next thing that I need to do is the axes, and the axes need to start from 0. So this point over here is always going to be 0. Now I need to think, as I move across here, I need to be doing the independent variable. So the independent variable would be time, okay, because that's the thing that we are changing. We're changing the time and then measuring the mass of the mouse. Now this goes from 1 to 21. So let me try going up in ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's not going to get me to 21. Maybe if I go up in twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Almost, that doesn't work. So let me try and go up in threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. That will do it. So I'm going to go up in threes. So 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. Okay. And if you want to go ahead, you can go and put in your little marks so that you know where every one is. Okay, so that was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so forth. Now, the vertical axis is the thing that I'm measuring, so that's masses. It goes up to 24. So let's try and go up in twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. No, that doesn't get me there. Let's try and go up in threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. Okay, that just gets me there, so I'm going to do that. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. And I'm also going to go in there and make my little tick marks just to make my life easier later on. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need to do is so what have we just done? We've done the axes. Okay, so I've put all the axes in there. Next I need to do labels, and my labels need to have units, and the independent variable goes on the x-axis and the dependent variable on the y-axis. So the independent variable was time. That was the first entry in the table. So my label for the x-axis is time, and the units is days, so I'll put that in brackets. Okay, my dependent variable is the mass, so that I'm going to write over here, mass, and its units was grams, so put that in there. Okay, so have I done the labels? Yes, I have. Do I need a key for this? Well, I don't need a key because I'm only doing one line graph here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tick that one for now. And then scale, I have done those scale already. So we've gone up in threes on the x-axis and also in threes on the y-axis for the major tick marks, and then we've put in individual little ones for all the little units that we need in between the threes that we've gone up in. So I've gone ahead and done that. And once you've done that, you're all ready to start plotting your point. Okay,